fancy intro music. Yeah! Woohoo!
Hey Star Trek Fleet Commanders, today I want to talk about something that, well, look, you're looking for ways to get better, stronger in the game. And a lot of you who watch my channel, which by the way, thank you so much. We have now reached over 50,000 Trekkies here watching on the channel. So many of you are either free to play or light spinners. Now this doesn't mean that this video can't be useful to high spending players. If you are a VIP slash, mega spender, that's completely fine. But I want to talk about something that can help make you better that maybe you haven't thought about. And this actually came about because I was talking to a few different players in the game who weren't really doing much with their Q trials, this right here. And I want to talk about forbidden technologies, but specifically a free to play forbidden technology that makes you such a stronger player for silent hostiles, regular FKR, grinding your faction reputation, swarms even for older stuff if you are still doing those loops. Whatever the hostile is, whatever the PvE situation is, makes you a better player. And yet it's something that can be forgotten. And this was spurned on because I was talking to a player who was in the upper 40s who had only completed the 1-star trials and had not even really done the 2-star trials or attempted to start them. And as you can see me at level 50, I'm working on the 3-star trials. Now, admittedly, these can get kind of tough, but there's something inside of here that you can earn, especially to players who are, I would say you will have unlocked as a free-to-player easily by the mid-40s, possibly earlier, and that is the Metreon Cascade. That's what today's video is about. Obviously, we kind of gave that away by the title of the video, but I want to talk about getting the Metreon Cascade. Now, to obtain the Metreon Cascade, it's quite simple. Complete all 3 of your 1-star Q trials, and then you'll notice in your 2-star Q trials, not all the way up, about 3/4 of the way up, you'll find the rest of the Metreon Cascade pieces. That way, you don't necessarily have to beat the, that's not supposed to spawn there. Technically, that's a leave over from back in the day, but don't worry about it. But if you can't beat, a big Acti at the very end of this, maybe you're just in a Valdor or a Max Enterprise, which by the way, can beat a lot of these hostiles. For example, these swarms can be beaten with a high-end Franklin A, and depending on the crew, but you can unlock the Metreon Cascade in the early 40s. Let's just put it that way. Potentially in a different situation. Let's just say free-to-play players, which there are over 70,000 players in the 40s in this game, and many of them are free-to-play. Let's talk about what the Metreon Cascade can do for you and the power it can bring you. So I have a tier 5 Metreon Cascade. But let's talk about what that Metreon Cascade does and how it maxes out. You can see here tier up cost, which we'll talk in a second, can be a little bit pricey, which is why you remember I've been talking about ways that you can obtain this and make it better. But if you were to max this out, it will give you an 1,800% bonus damage to hostiles. That's good. That's any red in existence. That is useful. Then you get a 2,100% boost to your hull health. That is a massive boost, even in today's game, with all the power creep, all the different things, that matters. Then you get a critical hit chance boost and a critical damage boost. And this, keep in mind, is also huge because today's game is going into Isolated Cascade. And Isolated Cascade needs these numbers big first before it can get even bigger. So the Metreon Cascade has a lot of value. The key is, number one, obtaining it, right? Use trials is how you obtain it. Then you got to talk about upgrading it. Well, how do we upgrade? As you can see here, we start having high upgrade cost. How high do those costs go? Well, it actually fluctuates. If you were watching my stream the other day, you saw that I only needed like 7,000. Well, now I need 27,000 if I was to take it to tier 6. And it has 12 total tiers. So as an epic, it is pricey. I guess you could word it to work on, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have value. And at tier 5, it's been a significant improvement for my gameplay. But as you can see over there, overall cost. Now you see that 27,100 for tier 6. There's actually ways to lower that cost. We'll look at that here in a second to remind you how to do that. But there, cost, you see it fluctuates. So it's not always huge, but it has like a progression system where that second tier is going to be really bad, but then the next 2 tiers, 3 and 4, don't cost really that much, or 4 and 5 don't cost that much comparatively to what they were previously. But you're going to get massive bonuses. You can see I'm sitting at a 1,650% bonus and a 1,500% bonus. and I simply haven't unlocked the criticals and the crit damage one yet. But I'm getting the majority of the big stuff of what I wanted. Remember, this maxes out at 1,800%. This maxes out at 2,100%. So even at tier 5, I have already gotten something that realistically, that's what I wanted. Like, that's the bonus I needed. And I'm not saying I'm not going to upgrade it more. What I am saying is I'm going to focus on getting the first 2 abilities, and the other abilities would be nice. Maybe another FT comes around that I'm working on. There is another one coming around that I'm working on. It's called the Time Crystal. Video coming soon, maybe. This is for my Vorcha that I'm working on unlocking. But I want to also show you a physical representation of how much this can improve the power of your ship. So here is my stock tier 10 pilot, right? Tier 10, 76.4 million. What happens when I slap on my Metreon Cascade? Equip. 86. Yikes. Let's do that again. Hold on. What was it before? And this is just me wasting currency now. Unequip. 76. Equip. 86. A tier 5 Metreon Cascade jumped my pylum up by 10 million power. Now remember, power is a very relative thing in the game. It's relative to based on your research and your level and what you have access to and officers and stuff like that. But this is something, again, that is completely free to playable, and you can also have a tier 5. There are players, I'm actually curious to know, comment section down below, what tier is your Metreon Cascade? Even if it's tier 3, tier 4, you're getting a lot of value for it. But let's talk about the cost of upgrading it. 2 big points I want to make. I encourage everybody to always run your Q's trials. Even if you can't beat a new one. Let's say you're stuck right here. Can't beat this tier 3. I actually could beat that. I know I can with my Tribune, but that's not the point. You're stuck here. You can't beat it. Remember, you can go back to old Q trials, even the 1 stars, run those 5.6 million hostiles, and you still get the loot and the proto matter rewards. Why do you want to do this? Because if you remember, inside your building, you get a bonus thanks to this right here. Mine's at 42. I get a 500% bonus to the amount that I unlock, meaning I can get more and more proto matter. So you always want to do Q trials every day, even if you're having to run an old one. That is going to help you upgrade the building and get more proto matter. Proto matter being one of the currencies you need to upgrade the Metreon Cascade. But you also need other things. Let's actually drop on down to our Forbidden Tech. We know that we need tier up catalyst. It can be very difficult to get, right? How else can we get tier up catalyst? Well, Event Store, which is something I've pushed people to do this time around. I actually talked to my friend Major Samo. If she watches this video, I hope she comments and, tells you what she feels, because I feel like she's pretty happy with the decision after she made it. But if you go into special currencies, you can get some tier up catalyst right here. You can actually get over 2,000. And again, if that gets you to the next tier, it can be a massive improvement to your overall performance in hostile grinding. But I also want to show another free-to-play method that exists for you players out there doing wave defenses. Section 31. And I know waves is something that you have to organize with your alliance and might be a little bit of a pain point. I completely get that. But there's value in Fleet Commander Sloan. Now you see I've not unlocked him yet. I'm 16 days away because I'm free to play grinding, and sometimes it can be hard to do waves. But if you go into his abilities as a commander, you'll find one that's very, very powerful. And it's going to be very big for you free to play players and low spenders who maybe want to save a little bit of money. If you look in the mechanic tree right here, the second one on down increases base Forbidden Tech cost efficiency to tier up. So you go, hey, proto matter feels like a bottleneck for me. And the proto matter is a bottleneck to an extent. But the proto matter is only a bottleneck until you level up your Q's trial building. And then you actually notice that if you're doing your Q's trials, you get more and more, and it gets better. But the catalyst refinery is still problematic for free to play, where this now comes in and gives you some good help, maxing out at a 20% reduction. If you're talking about something costing, 27,000, well, that means that I get basically a little over 5,000 reduced if I had that ability maxed out. That is helpful for all you players. And again, that's a way that you can make this process easier using event stores, using commanders to get that currency you need. And don't forget, that's not the only way. Head over to your faction if you are a player in the 40s. X-Borg, we have this lovely one that I particularly like, the Forbidden Tech Exchange. Granted, this is level based on what you're going to be getting. But as you can see, I do use this one for a chance of tier up Catalyst. The main thing I wanted to get across in today's video is the Metreon Cascade. Whatever you are, free to play to the highest of spenders, is one of the most important pieces of technology in this game. And it's completely free to obtain. You simply have to make sure you focus on it and work on it. Don't forget that something like this can drastically increase the power of your ship. How much can it drastically increase? I want to give you even another example. You see that I've got a Tribune, and I love my Tribune. I have no regrets about it. If I was to put my Tribune on right now, it's only 2% stronger. But what if I put the Metreon Cascade on the Tribune? Well, I'll pay the rods, and I'll do that for the sake of the video. Almost a 100 million Tribune, and that's for hostile grind. This is the power that some of these forbidden techs can give you, and this is why I like them so much, because forbidden techs, they're great. Well, sometimes you just need a little extra oomph, and this can give you that oomph. Now, if you have questions about this and how it works, and I still use my Polym as my primary ship just for repair costs and because of its lootability, maybe the Metreon Cascade is great for you. Let me know down in the comment section down below. If you have any questions, as always, hit me up on Discord. Live long and plunder. Stay safe for the Space Cowboys. Deuces, that's me. Sorry for the lateness of today's video, but was working on a few other exciting projects. Live long and plunder. See you on the next one, and we are out.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.